Welcome to the Future Proof Leader. I'm Jessica Repatch, co-founder of Twin Legacy Solutions. Today we have Bill Lennan. He is the founder of 40% Better. So welcome, Bill. Thanks for being on the show today. And I'd just like to open the show by you telling us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So through a series of adventures, we found a system that enables software teams primarily, but other teams also, to operate way better than people realize they can operate. Companies always think about optimizing their technology stacks, but they don't think about optimizing the human being stacks. And what we found was that the ROI of optimizing the people is both from a productivity, but also from a company performance standpoint, and a human happiness standpoint. And so that's what we teach people how to do.
I love it.
Thank
Happy
you.
employees, happy life, happy mission, buy-in. I love it all.
And way more productivity. So way more revenue, way more profits. I'm a hardcore capitalist. And so for me, this is 100% an ROI thing. Company wants to make more money, make the people happier, and that's how you win.
I work better for companies that treat me well. That's for sure.
Yep.
So you work with a lot of first level leaders and emergent leaders. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a reason behind that.
Yeah, tell me.
Most people don't wrap their heads around this, is that all the money your company makes is almost all of it is coming from individual contributor level people. And the lever that makes them the happiest is their team lead. It's not the guy in the C-suite, right? Because the guy in the C-suite, he gets a bigger paycheck maybe, but he doesn't have the day-to-day impact to help the individual contributor operate better. And so when you start to get your team leads to be taking good care of individual contributors, all of a sudden the performance of the team changes. And if you teach people in advance how to do that, there's two things that happen. Number one, when they actually have the responsibility, they know what to do because they've been doing it and practicing it in advance. And if they decide on the way in that leadership is not their idea of a good time, then they have a chance to pivot and go do something else. And you don't want to make somebody a team lead who doesn't like working with people, because you'll downgrade everybody's performance. It's a horrible net negative.
Oh, absolutely. The military is structured like that too, right? So every Marine knows that the sergeants are the backbone of the Marine Corps, not the officers, not anybody else, because they get things done.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree.
I learned a ton from my dad was a munitions officer in the Air Force, and I learned a ton from him because he always told me that the most important part of his job was making sure his troops were happy, because there was nothing that they did he could do by himself. He's like, my team's not happy, we're not loading the airplanes, they're not flying. So
100%. Yeah, he's a smart dude. Yeah, that's so true. Well, so what's something that you see over and over again that they don't realize is holding them back, like these emerging leaders?
Like, just put it on the table, it's fear, right? When you're a new leader and you don't know what to do, there's a lot of books that are philosophical about how to be a good leader. Leaders Eat Last and Turn the Boat Around. There's a whole bunch of books on how to do leadership well, but nobody tells you what to do behaviorally when you walk into the office tomorrow morning, right? And that's one of those key pieces. And early in my career, for me, that was a really big struggle, was like, what do I do tomorrow morning to help my team operate better? And because I kept thinking my team has to be happy, I just took the risk and did the experiment of what's going to make them happier. And because I have a stack of skills around fear management, it wasn't as hard for me. And I've worked with people who, when I said, oh yeah, here's what you need to go do, the first thing they say is, that's too scary, I can't do it. People just straight up admit it, right? And so that's a key indicator of, okay, you need the emotional resilience skills, how to manage your brain chemistry. And because if you can't, then you're not going to do that thing. You're not going to go to your executive and say, I want to invest in new computers for my team, because it's too scary, right? That's it. Yeah.
But is it, so let's talk about fear. I agree, there's so much fear. Is it lack of experience, fear of failure, or just fear of like lack of respect? I was a emergent leader once, walking in, trying to lead people that were twice my age. There is, I think, a little bit of both, but what's the most common thing that you see? The lack of experience, the fear of failure?
I think fundamentally it's, and that's the reason I'm wearing this shirt today. People get stuck in their heads that safety is the most important thing. And so if they don't have a safe way to go talk to their executive, they won't do it, right? They don't know how. It's kind of like people that don't know how to swim, right? A lot of times people who don't know how to swim, even though they intellectually know they can go get swimming lessons, because they don't see a way for the water to be safe, they won't go down to the local pool and say, I need swimming lessons. I'm an adult. Do you have somebody who can help me? Right? Because just that safety thing is the wall. And they don't realize, oh, wait a minute, there's a way around this. There's a door here. I just have to reach out and grab the doorknob, right? And I think this is a full-on cultural, maybe not PC comment, but I think we've become so concerned about safety in so many different contexts that as soon as people run into that safety thing, and this is like, it doesn't even matter what age people are at, right? They're like, oh no, I don't have a safe route for talking to my executive, and they don't do it. And
so what is the implications of not doing it, right? What's a great difficult conversation? What's a great way of having a difficult conversation, taking that step?
Right. So here's one of the things that we teach people is there's really no difficult conversations. There's no such thing as a hard conversation. Here's an example. You were in the Marines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably learned how to field strip a weapon.
Yep.
Right? You've probably done that a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. You could probably do it right now. I could take random Joe person off the street and say, here, do this. And they would look at me and say, I don't even know where to start. When you learn, and you probably learned how to do that in little tiny steps. If you're going to, I don't know, pick a weapon like 1911, right? Do you ever field strip in 1911?
No, actually I haven't.
AR of some kind?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the first thing you do?
Well, now you're putting me on the spot.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Maybe I couldn't do it right now. It has been 10 years.
New year? Okay, yeah. But so
honestly, it's muscle memory for me.
You're just gonna.
I don't even know where. I don't know. I would.
Right, because it's kind of like riding a bicycle. I don't think about riding a bicycle. You probably don't think of riding a bicycle because we've done all these reps.
Right.
So the starting point of the reps to have the conversation be easy is to recognize where you are in the social anxiety stack, or the social anxiety and what's the word I want? Scale. And are you comfortable talking with strangers? Because if you're not, step one is get over social anxiety. And we have a system for that. Oh. Right. I used to have horrible social anxiety. And I designed and built a system for myself.
Never tell.
Yeah, that I've trained. I just dropped the book 2 weeks ago on how to get over social anxiety. Yeah.
I need that for my husband.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. I hope he's not watching this one. Very techie, very, like I said, nuclear guy, social anxiety.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. That used to be me. Wow. So you break it down into little tiny pieces, and then you do the reps. And so you know how to field strip a gun because you got all the reps. You know how to ride a bicycle because you got all the reps. You know how to swim because you've done all the reps, right? And so difficult conversations are, you get over your social anxiety first. Yeah. You do the research to figure out the person that you're going to be talking with, their success metrics. So before I ever go talk to an executive, I know their success metrics. Before any of our clients go talk to an executive about a difficult conversation, they figure out that person's success metrics, right? Yeah, and then they bring the conversation to them using that person's success metrics so that they're going to win, right? So an easy example, right? Most executives think about money, because they talk about budgets all the time, right? Yeah. And so if I go to them and I'm like, I want to spend $40,000 because I want to get a bunch of equipment for my team. If I just go and say that, they're going to be like, we don't have the budget for that. No. But if I go in and I say, look, currently we're losing everybody on the team an hour a week in productivity, 5 hours a week in productivity, and I'd like to buy new equipment for them to get that time back. Because with their current level of equipment, we're not going to be able to do it. And by the way, the time to the ROI on that, the break-even point is 6 months, right? In 6 months, we will have saved enough time to pay for that equipment. And then from then on, it's gravy, right?
I like that. Yeah, that's really clever. Yes.
And then they're like, they can't write you the check fast enough, right? They're like, what do you need? who's the vendor? Can I order it right now?
And you have all that ready.
Right. You have it all. You're like, oh yeah, no problem. I've got it. It's all right here. Right. So it's when you prepare for the conversation, there's no challenge. Either there's only two results that are going to happen with the conversation. Number one, you're going to get what you want. Number two, if they say no, then you get to say, well, why not? Like, what's the piece of this puzzle that I'm missing? Right. And then you get to learn, and then you get to go and you have two choices. You either recraft your pitch, accounting for that metric that you didn't know about, or you go, wow, okay, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it, right? This is a thing that I can't, the company's about to tank, right? We're about to lay off all the staff. We don't have the funds for it. Oh, I didn't know that before. Now that I know that, now very different conversation coming out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no hard conversations. Yeah. It's all about prep and understanding the other person. And if you get over social anxiety, that becomes really easy.
You make it sound easy. I mean, I've been trying to train my husband for like 15 years how to overcome his social anxiety. I think
because you're comfortable talking to people. And
yeah.
One of the things that I learned, so when my teams were doing things that people said was impossible, people keep asking me, like, how do you do this? They were like, okay, like, what are you doing? How are you, how come your team is doing things that we know you can't do? We know you can't do this, right?
Yeah.
One of my teams, they asked us to do a Hail Mary save the company. And they said, we all know this is a 12 to 15 month project. We've only got a 9-month window. Do you guys want to take a shot at it? Because nobody else wants to touch it. And I'm like, I don't know. Let me talk to the rest of the team and see what they say. And the team was like, yeah, sounds like a fun challenge. Let's do it. We got it done in 8.
Woo!
We had all the time in the world for training. We got bug fixes in and upgrades that we weren't, because the team, number one, they had a really clear mission. They had a fun, exciting challenge for them, right? And I was like, you guys get to rescue the company. And who doesn't love that as a mission, right?
That is cool.
But people were like, how did you do that? What did you do? And I said, I take good care of my people, because at that time I didn't know how to explain it.
Right.
And then let's see, how long ago was it now? 8 years ago. My significant other wanted to know what I was doing. And because she was a mental health professional in a hospital setting.
Okay.
She worked in clinical programs. And she said, we're having leadership challenges at the hospital. What is it you're doing? And I was like, I don't know how to explain it. And she said, well, let me ask you a bunch of questions. And I'm like, okay. And she's an occupational therapist. And so she started asking me all these questions. And then finally she goes, okay, I know what you're doing. And I'm like, sweet, tell me, because I don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm doing it, but I don't know what's unusual, right?
Right.
And so she said, you have a stack of very different mental models about leadership. The way that you think about it and your belief structures are not everybody else's. And that gives you a very different starting point. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And she said, the second thing is you're using a bunch of skills that we teach clinically to people with mental health struggles for performance. So there's a stack of skills they use in clinical programs. It's called dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT. DBT in clinical programs is now the gold standard for everything from depression and anxiety to complex PTSD. It's a skill stack for managing your brain chemistry. And I started learning these skills purely by accident because of sports when I was a kid. And I abstracted it into every other context in my life. And so that's how I was managing my fear and how I baby stepped into being able to do things, right? I break things down into very, very tiny recipes and then build it up. And so that allows me to do things. The third part was communication, was I had this approach to communication. The fourth thing is changes your perspective on power dynamics. When you have the first 3, you can talk to anybody in the company and be completely not intimidated. I can go talk to the CEO and have a conversation, and I'm not worried about it. For most people that are first level team leads, they don't know how to do that because they don't have the other parts, right? And then I just make it all habits. And so she actually was able to give me that breakdown and go, this is what you're doing. And I was like, oh, well, doesn't everybody do that? And she said, well, no, they don't, because obviously they're not getting your results. So then I started looking at, oh, okay, great. Well, what's the difference, right? And for most people, just upfront, the mental models is the first wall, and they can't. That's the first obstacle, and they can't get past it. And then managing your brain chemistry is the next one, and then communication is the next one.
Right. So you're talking a lot about like communication and stuff, right? So I guess for CEO and founder standpoint, how do you build trust within these teams with these emergent leaders, but
Sure.
also maintain very high standards? Because
Yep.
there's some as an owner of business, you have very intense metrics you need to hit to make sure you're successful, you're scaling your business, doing all these things. How do you push and drive those leaders without being intimidating or disrespectful and but also
Right.
building trust, confidence, and engagement? Does that make sense?
So the first thing is you put people in leadership roles who are already doing leadership activities. So, someone who is already looking at helping other people operate better. Because at the core, the best thing any team lead, anybody in a company can do is help the people that report to them operate better. That is the winning game, right? And so you have to come in and say, okay, it's my responsibility, at whatever level you're in, to help the people below me operate better. And so if you own a business, you have to have the self-awareness to recognize what it is that you're doing that either helps or hinders your people. And you have to recognize that all other things being equal, they would love to do a great job for you. They would love to be deeply engaged with the company. The reason they're not is because you're not doing something or other that would allow them to go there, right? And so the starting point is, what's the friction that I'm creating in the business, right? And that's a hard question to ask, but that's the thing you have to be able to do. And I'm a huge fan of finding good role models. So when I was in college, I worked at a restaurant. It was a very high-end fine dining restaurant. It was one of the best restaurants in town. And the guy that ran the restaurant, the GM, it was not his first rodeo. And he was all about, I'm going to give everybody as much trust and as much benefit of their operating as best as possible in the business to take care of the customers as I possibly can. We have this very short list of rules of things that we don't want you to do. And after that, anything you can do to take care of the customer, we're totally happy about. And so trusting your people to do the right thing, assuming you've taught them the right thing, is step one, right? I think that's the first thing. And I think a lot of business owners don't trust their people. And it goes back to fear, right? They're afraid that their people are going to do something wrong and the owner's going to look bad. And, at that restaurant, first of all, the owner of the restaurant he was only the money guy. He knew nothing about restaurants.
Wow.
So he hired a GM. Like, I don't know the backstory on why he started the restaurant, but it was a cash cow because of the general manager. And he trusted us to do our jobs really, really well. And they had a coaching culture built in. That was one of the things that was really interesting, was anybody could look at any process or system and say, I think we could make this better. Can we experiment? And we would spend a week experimenting with that system. And then everybody would go like, hey, it worked. Whatever, save time, save money, customers, whatever. Or we could go, that kind of didn't work so well. And it didn't matter where you were. And what they especially liked was new people to come in who with no experience, with fresh eyes, because I'd never worked in a restaurant before when I started it. And they were like, we don't care. We're going to train you our way. You don't have any bad habits. And so that was part of the beauty of it, was ideas for improvement could come from anywhere in the org. And the GM, I don't remember him ever saying, oh, I've got this new idea for how to make this work better. He just never said that, right? And so if you want the business to be better, you have to trust your people. You have to recognize what you're doing that's creating friction. And you have to work on your own fear.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying a lot of I actually had a podcast earlier today. We were talking a little bit about this, right? So I consider myself a servant leader. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
servant leader, because I think I'm very much on the same page as you, is that the more you do for your people, the more that they see they're supported, the better they're going to work for you, because that's just how I always was.
Exactly.
I feel like a little bit of terrified, fear. So what I used to do in my career, like when I, was working directly with teams and stuff, is empower them with tasks, right? Okay, here's the goal. Go figure it out. And I would have like an idea in my head. I do it this way. Never ever one time did that my like team or our team come up with an idea that matched what I had in my head. It was almost certainly better than what I would have come up with. And they were so committed because they had input, value added. Then it was their idea. And then we drove hard and we got so much done.
Yeah.
So when you have your leaders being empowered,
Yeah.
the things that they can do for you are going to be beyond, right?
Yeah.
Because if I I don't do well working under dictator leaders. I like call them dictatorships, right?
Exactly.
This is how you do it. Go do it X, Y, and Z. And then every 5 minutes, how's it going? What are you doing? Back off. Let me do my job. Let me figure it out. Because then you have someone, dictating how you're doing your business. It's like, oh man, I better follow his style because if not, he's not going to like the outcome or he's going to be pestering me until it's done his way, blah, or her way. But the empowerment goes so, so far. I feel as a leader myself and then leading other people, it's just been incredible the amount of results that you get. You're right. I guess I never thought about it as ROI. I am the very people say my biggest strength is also my biggest weakness. So I'm extremely passionate about what I do. Everything I do, I'm just like super committed. I don't give up.
Yeah.
But then I've had feedback, my consistent career feedback. Jessica, you're extremely dedicated, you're a driven person, but you're also that makes you real emotional when things don't like your weakness is that you're too attached. Well, why wouldn't you want to be attached to your mission? Why wouldn't it be personal?
Right.
Why wouldn't it be part of who you are, connecting yourself? I feel like the feedback I used to get, I had a mentor tell me that once. They're like, I wouldn't take that as a weakness on any given day. Your passion, connection to what you do drives results. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have leaders that don't appreciate that. And you don't want to be overly emotional, but what comes out of people being so connected and passionate about what they do is just a high quality result that they feel like they contributed to. And I love that.
I think about intrinsic motivation all the time.
Oh,
Because that's the thing is if you're intrinsically motivated, that's exactly what you're talking about, right? Is you're intrinsically motivated, you want to provide this result, whatever it is, for your clients, for your people, and you'll do your best work as somebody who's intrinsically motivated. And back to ROI again, right? I want you to do your best work, right? Your boss, whoever it is, your clients, they want you to do your best work. If you're not intrinsically motivated and you're just kind of phoning it in, it's not going to happen.
right. And we definitely turn to, and I don't know if this is healthy or unhealthy habit, but I mean, I'm competitive, which I always made it a competition. My team, like, whoever can figure this out with the best outcome or whatever is the winner. Like, I don't even know if we had prizes. The pride of winning the competition was enough, especially with the Marines. They're competitive. I do it with my kids, and I'm like laughing, but I shouldn't be laughing because my kids do well in school, but consistently my youngest, they're like, she's a go-getter, but like she just has to be first and she wants to be done first and be there first. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing at home with the competition. I was like, oh man, I was like, I better stop competing them against each other. So she always wants to be first. She can be a good leader.
And so she wants to be first. That's awesome. And she has to also realize that she's not always going to win.
Right.
But how can she make sure that her troops are really happy and that they're willing to compete again? Right. That's one of those sports coaching things, right? It's like, the team did the best they could. They came in third.
Yep.
Today, that's the best they could possibly do,
Yeah. Yeah, within the competition, it's always Team Ray Patch over here. Our family, it's always Team Ray Patch. One win is a whole win. That's how I feel like leaders, they need to just, the more you can connect your people to, it is about empowerment. It is about empowering your leaders, but the more you can build that teamwork and that connection,
right?
The stronger the bond, the stronger the outcome.
Exactly.
I think you're onto something really, really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to end on a cool question just to leave it philosophical. So if you could give every leader one piece of advice about fear, just one piece of advice, what would it be?
Learn to manage your own brain chemistry, because fear is just a brain chemistry response and it's not universal, right?
Yeah.
I grew up playing in the water, right? I swam competitively, dove, ton of surfing. I love water sports, right? If I fall in the deep end of the swimming pool, I'm going to be laughing about it, because for me, that's the playground, right? And my kids are the same way, because I started them swimming really, really young. On the flip side, I've had people get super pissed at me when I've had my kids at the pool when they were little, because they thought I was endangering my kids. And my kids were having a blast, right?
Yeah.
But they weren't wearing floaties. And they were underwater at the bottom of the pool picking stuff up. And when another parent, their fear bubbles out so vocally, and they're like, "What are you doing to your kids?" It's the same water. It's just that parent's afraid, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And it's because I manage my brain chemistry. The first time I took one of my kids underwater was terrifying, but I also knew that, like, I was doing the mechanics that would get them to hold their breath. And the hardest time was the very first time I did it. And he came up and spluttered and cried, and we were at a class, and they told us this is what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
it's totally okay, right? And I was like, okay, I trusted him. Here's what we're going to do, right? Did it. My kids are fish.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's
My
a
kid, I'm the fear one. The water hits hard. The water analogy hits hard with me because I fell in a pool, but I would never got swim lessons. So I fell in a pool when I was little and I almost drowned. And
yep,
now everything water, like you said, I know I could probably I know how to swim, but not well.
right,
When I was jumping in, but I jumped in off a 12-foot diving board with all my gear, a weapon, and a helmet, and
yep,
had to pass my swim test, and I did it, even though I thought I was going to die. I didn't die, but that fear definitely emits to my kids, and my husband's like, go away. He's like,
right,
they can feel your anxiety,
right,
go
right,
away. They can't end up like your fear.
yeah,
You just have this fear. You're going to be fine. You have to overcome it.
right,
But then every time we're around water, I'm like petrified internally. And he's like, they can
right,
feel that stop. I was like,
yeah. So if it's any consolation, my mom was terrified of the water. She didn't learn how to swim until I think she was 38.
oh,
And it
yeah.
was because we were stationed in Hawaii, and my dad got into snorkeling at Hanama Bay.
Oh, cool.
And so I was snorkeling with him, and I was 8 at the time.
Yeah.
And so, I'm this little kid snorkeling, and my mom's like, I want to get in on the action. And
Oh,
so she would go into knee deep water with a mask on and stand there and look at the fish, right?
me.
And that was her starting point, right?
Yeah.
Was mask, look at the fish, stand up.
Me. Yep.
Am I still safe, right?
Yep.
2 years later, she was on the outside of the reef free diving in 35-foot deep water,
Whoa.
because she did it in little tiny increments. And this is one of the secrets. This is the core of our training, is little tiny increments, right? If you go to the Red Cross or whatever around you where they teach swimming
Yeah.
lessons, right?
Yeah.
The starting point is going to be take a deep breath and put your face in the water,
Yeah.
and then pick your head up out of the water, right?
Yeah.
And just do that, and do 100 reps of that until you're going to be like, okay, this is really boring. I know I can hold my breath in the water. Now what? And they're going to be like, okay, whatever the next step is. I don't even remember anymore what the next step is.
Yeah.
But they're going to work you into it, and you're going to be swimming laps of freestyle. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm swimming laps of freestyle. And then you're going to be the one diving to the bottom of the swimming pool, picking stuff up and clearing your ears and doing all that stuff. And your kids are going to be like, Mom, what's
What
going on?
happened?
What happened, right? But it's the little tiny increments. Like the way that I got over social anxiety was a stack of really tiny increments. That's like, this is how we learn math, right? What's 7 times 3?
21.
Right. And every person that I ever ask who's over 12 gives me that answer, because we learn math in a stack of really tiny increments, and we don't even think about it, right? But it's the exact same system. And so I think in systems, overcoming fear is learning how to operate a system to where that thing, whatever it is you're afraid of, becomes irrelevant, because you know how to be comfortable and confident in that context, because you've done all the reps, right? You didn't even blink when I said, what, 7 times 3?
Right.
Because you've probably done that math in your head 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Right. That's really like anything is scary if you've never done it before. Right.
Yeah.
But nothing is scary when you've done it 800 times. It's like, oh, I got to do this thing again. God, this is so boring. Why do they want me? And that's how you overcome your fear.
I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone's going to watch this and everyone's going to be diving in 35 feet water.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They have to start with just holding their breath and face down and then, right?
Safety third, just jump
Safety
in.
third.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. This is like, you jump in, like the scary thing is when you put your face on water the first time, it's scary.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. And you have to do it anyway, even though you're scared. And then
I have to plug my nose and do it, but I
totally fine to do that. Completely okay.
No, I could swim. I could swim at a basic level, but yeah, I see the analogy really hit me when you said it. I was like, I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but water, he got me because that's one thing I'm really never felt comfortable around because of the trauma. But
75% of the planet's covered in water. You might as well make it your playground.
Right. I like it.
And
I love it.
There's all these water sports. Like, how old are your kids?
6, 9, and 11. All girls. Dancers.
Yeah. Water polo.
Really?
Girls water polo is the bomb.
Really? Yeah. I've never heard of it.
Water polo?
Yeah.
Clearly wherever it is that you live is not.
I mean, I do live near the Finger Lakes, but one of the co-founders has a lake house. We go there every summer, but water polo is not something we've ever done.
Water polo is like soccer, but in the swimming pool.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have a pool either.
So local community will, like the high school probably has a water polo team, but you want your kids to start age group when they're like 10 years old. Because number one, they will become incredibly comfortable in the water. Number two, they get really good at team sports. And number three, it's really good emotional.
They're competitive dancers and soccer players.
Yeah. So this is just a whole other different level of physical acumen. Oh, and by the way, if your girls ever decide they want to become Navy SEALs, the people that make your young one, right? So the people that make it in the SEALs primarily play water polo or they wrestle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because if you play water polo, you're used to all the aquatic, like cold, struggle, all the water stuff they do. It's just kind of like not a big deal. You just don't, being underwater, holding your breath, water comp is all super easy.
You're inspired. You can open a whole new business, like how to overcome your swimming, your life.
Overcome your fears?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do that, I guess. But so where can people find you? So companies, you do emerging leaders. I'm sure you do some C-suite training, some trickle down training.
We love the C-suite because they write the checks.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of the world, I'm all about the tactics, not the strategy.
Gotcha.
And the tactic is getting the team, like if the C-suite, this is Machiavellian and I fully admit it, right? The C-suite has a decent strategy at all. Once their team leads learn how to operate our system, the execution of that strategy is going to get so much better. Because right now the friction is you've got this great strategy, but nobody knows, like the making it happen just isn't there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There's all kinds of military analogies. The general's got a great strategy, but the folks on the ground don't know how to shoot.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Right.
And so you really need to have that base level. And I think this is why so many companies have struggles, is they don't have the engagement.
I think you're right, because I mean, we do AI solutions, strategy, centralization, efficiencies. We do strategy, but the execution portion, they don't want to invest in so much.
Right. And that's the problem.
Side.
Yeah. And no matter how good your strategy is, if you can't get the execution to happen, it just doesn't, it's irrelevant. Yeah.
I'm with you. We try. That's what we kind of, we like the strategy, but we also like the execution. But
right.
Give me the strategy. I'll figure it out. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah.
Call me in 6 months. Okay. So so you said you had a book out there. Where can people find you?
So the book I just launched, it's called Talking with Strangers.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. It's got a bright orange cover. I wish I had a copy with me. I would show it to you. You can get it on Kindle. It's only 99 cents on Kindle because it's the cheapest I could price it.
Oh, nice.
The paperback's less than $10. Haven't done a hardcover yet. This is part of a series. This one is this first book is having conversations with strangers, right? Up from nothing up to an hour. Because I figure if you can talk to somebody for an hour, you're good,
You're
right?
good. Yeah.
The next book's going to be on presenting in public speaking.
Yeah,
That's the
that
next
is a
one.
good one.
Yeah.
Public speaking.
Because you have to get past talking with strangers before you can be effective at presenting and public speaking.
That makes sense. Do you have a
Yeah.
website? I
Yeah.
know you're on
So,
LinkedIn, Bill Lennan.
I'm on LinkedIn. So the website's 40pb.com, 40 digit number 4 number 0, and then PLB is in boy.com.
Nice.
Simple. My email's bill@40pb.com. I try to keep this stuff super easy and super
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Consistency. I like it.
Yeah,
Consistent.
simplicity works, and I'm happy to talk to anybody about leadership. My focus is tech companies.
Okay.
But I've taken inspiration from military organizations, restaurants, car racing teams, and first responder teams.
So cool.
So,
Yeah, you have
yeah.
a unique background. Well, I'm sure
Thank
you
you.
do well for yourself. I'm sure you'll be very busy. I'm sure you are very busy.
Most important, I'm happy.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
back to the team's got to be happy first and then productive. And so, sitting outdoors and we're doing this podcast, I'm happy,
If you could just bring some warm weather, I could also go outdoors, but it's sunny but 35 in New York right now.
If you want to, we've got plenty of ground. You can go camp out. You can pitch a tent,
Fly out to California.
Fly out to California, pitch a tent. I've got a hot water shower over there. You'd be good.
Oh, you're living the dream, Bill. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Sure,
And
thank
to our
you.
listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I learned a lot, and I'm going to read your book for
Beautiful.
my husband because
Give it to him. Yeah.
my coaching has been unsuccessful. No, I'm just kidding. I'd love to read your book. Thanks for being on the show again, and we will see everybody in the next episode.